Welcome to Unplugged Live with Dr. Diane Smith-Clark, PhD. Get ready to get inspired by the stories of overcoming life's challenges to bring change and transformation. Here's Dr. Diane.
Hi, and welcome back to Unplug. I'm Dr. Diane Clark, your host. My co-host is on assignment, but we miss him and we hope that he returns to us soon. Tonight, we're going to continue with the subject that we taught on last week that we conversed about, teen suicide, and how it's impacting the church community, how it's impacting families, and get some more information on what we can do for prevention, intervention, so that we can bring awareness and perhaps we can save the next child. If you're tuning in, I want you to leave a comment on Facebook, if you're on Instagram, or you subscribe to my YouTube channel. We'd love to hear from you. If you have some guests that you'd like for us to bring on the show or something that you would like for us to cover, we welcome your comments. Like us, follow us. We appreciate it. Also, check out my website, Diane Unplugged. There's an ebook that you can download for free about teenage suicide. Well, my guest tonight is Cheryl Dees, and Cheryl serves as the founder and executive director of the Darnell Dees Jr. Marvelous Light Foundation. Cheryl has a passion for bringing awareness to mental health and suicide prevention. Since 2018, the foundation has presented over $5,000 in scholarships to students throughout the country. We're going to welcome Cheryl to our show and let us tell us about what's going on in the community, tell us about her foundation and how we can become more aware to avoid the loss of our teens to suicide. Welcome, Cheryl.
Thank you for having me, Dr. Clark. Thank you so much.
It is a pleasure. I'm so glad you could join us today. Last week we had Selena on and we were highlighting suicide prevention, intervention, the new hotline that people can call. And she was telling me about you and how trauma impacted your life and what you did with your trauma, how you turn your lemons into lemonade. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you're doing now.
Absolutely. So again, thank you so much for having me. I'm Cheryl Crawford Dees, and I am the founder and executive director of DJ Dees Marvelous Light Foundation, where we focus on mental health awareness and suicide prevention. We tragically lost my son, DJ, at the age of 16 in 2018. DJ showed at that time no signs, no symptoms. He was living a perfect, ordinary life, or ordinary as we thought it was. He was a football player and a track star, and he had aspirations of playing for the University of Alabama. He was currently attending Fleming Island High School. We're a military family, so we had just moved back to the Jacksonville area. And then the summertime came, and in the fall, he had enrolled in the Bowl School. So again, over the summer, this tragically happened to our family. We were not well equipped to know how to deal with suicide or understanding any signs or any tendencies or anything of that nature. But what our family did do was we knew that we could not be silent about what happened to our son. So we did form this foundation where we aim to provide resources as well as present scholarships to young adults. We do focus on middle school and high school children. We go around and we tell DJ's story of trusting the process. And we also award $500 and $1,000 scholarships to deserving seniors. We have them fill out an application, but also write a 250-word essay on how they believe the community, the school, their parents influence their mental health. And we ask them, if there are some things that they've overcome, or if they've had friends who have experienced, suicidal ideations or just difficulties in life altogether. And over the course of the past going on 5 years now, it has been phenomenal, the response that we've received from these young adults. And just some of the things that they've overcome. So again, we award them the scholarship because, we believe that, not every child might make it into college. We've awarded scholarships to individuals who, might be joining the military or being a first responder, a police or firefighter, or just deciding that they want to go out and be a productive citizen, in their community. But we let them know that they always have a resource. They always have a helping hand. We also offer mental health first aid, as well as we offer, a donation for funeral expenses. Again, when something traumatic like this happens to a family, not all families or individuals are prepared for it. Not all individuals might have, life insurance and things of that nature for young adults. So we do offer up donations for funeral expenses, repasses, memorials, things of that nature.
Wow. It is so good to know that we can inform our community of these awesome services that you provide as a result of what you and your family experienced. How can they reach you? How can they get in touch with you?
Absolutely. They can go to our website, which is www.djmarvelouslightfoundation. And then we also have an email there. You can email us at any time, but starting in June, we'll actually start releasing the application process for the upcoming 2023-2024 applicants. It is actually our hope to host. September is Suicide Awareness Month. So it is our hope to host a mega gala for Duval County and Clay County students, and to at least give out between $5,000 and $10,000 worth of scholarships to those students.
That is awesome. I'm sure there are parents who are watching us now who are writing down this information, because it's important to know that. And you're willing to help young people, even if they hadn't been a suicide in the family. But if there have been attempts, or if they were thinking about it, they can contact your organization. I see that you have a degree in business administration, along with a work history in social services.
Yes,
Is
I
that,
do.
yeah,
Yes.
okay.
So it's mainly been social services geared around geriatric patients and seniors in the community. I was the director for a company called ChinMed. And then I've also been an account executive for about 19 years now for a large health insurance company that caters towards seniors. So I have a servant leader heart. We love to always be able to assist my family in any way, shape, form, or fashion, if possible. And again, even though we're continuing to go through our grief process and our grief journey, we have been just trusting our faith. And like I said, we did not want this to happen to another family. We wanted to be able to prevent it where possible.
Wow. Cheryl, what was life like leading up to your son deciding to end his own life? Were there any triggers? Were there any signs that you noticed, or?
Yeah. So leading up to it, we did not know of any signs or symptoms, again, because we were not educated in that area to even recognize them. Life was normal. Again, DJ was a football player. He played football since the age of 5, and he had started putting in applications. Scouts had started, looking at him, and we had actually just come back on a football camp tour. So I think we went to about 3 camps in Georgia, and then we had 1 camp that we were in Miami. So as parents, we always have just, pushed our children in the direction that they wanted to go. They would lead, we would follow. Football and track were the 2 things that he was interested in. So as parents, we thought that it was our responsibility to go ahead and push him, in the manner to exceed his expectations. If you say you want to play football, I'm going to try to get you in the best camps, get you in the best schools, get you the best trainers, if possible. So life was normal. But looking back, now that we know what we know, things weren't so normal. So I'll give you an example. Even after DJ passed away, we started, you play the recorder in your head saying, what did
Yep.
he do the day before?
The
What did he do?
hindsight. Yeah.
Exactly. And what we did realize was that our family had a lot of routines. It was routine for DJ to get up at 5 o'clock in the morning, do a training, go to school, after school, finish your homework, go to football practice, come home, do another training, take a break, eat dinner, do homework, wake back up, get ready to do the same thing all over again. We just had a lot of mundane routines that we had put into place. Looking back at it, about 2 years after he had passed, it was in 2020. I was actually going through some of DJ's things and items, and we found a letter that he actually had wrote to us in 2016, but never given to us. And in that letter, he expressed that, he just wanted to make us proud. He was the oldest son. I have 6 children. So he was the oldest son. He just wanted to make us proud. He just wanted to make us happy. He wanted to be an exceptional kid. And sometimes what we don't notice in our children being overachievers, being 4.0 students, is that sometimes they also need an outlet. They need a break. They need to be able to tell, parents or someone, I just need a break today. When we go and we tell his story about trusting the process, I always bring up a story where I say, us as adults, if we're having a bad day or we're having a bad week, we might call our boss or our supervisor and say, hey, I'm taking a PTO day, or, I'm taking a vacation day. Our boss isn't going to ask us why. They're just going to respect that that's our time. And we might just want to sit in our pajamas or sip tea all day or go get a massage or lay up and watch soap operas and do absolutely nothing. But we have to ask ourselves, when do our children get that opportunity? We always say, hey, your responsibility is getting up, going to school. What else do you have to do? You play these sports, you don't have any real responsibilities, but really and truthfully, they do. And sometimes they just might say, you know what? I need a break. And they need to feel comfortable in having that space, to come to their parents or some, adult that they respect, be it a teacher, be it a guidance counselor, and just say, hey, I've been running, but now I feel like my tank is empty. I can't explain to you exactly what I feel, but I feel like I just need to put some things on pause and take a break and feel comfortable being able to do that.
Mm-hmm. I know how difficult and challenging it can be. Just looking back to my school days, which was quite a few days back. But the pressure was to be the best, do the best, because if you were going to participate in corporate America, if you were going to change your life, if things were going to be different for your future, you had to be the best. There was a lot of pressure to excel. And that with parents now both working out of the home, they rely a lot on teachers and organizations or programs. They try to funnel the children through extra things to make up for the time that they really need to be training them or pouring into them, because the parent wants the child to excel as much as the child wants to excel. And I can see, looking back, how hard that pressure must have been, because I came home with a straight A report card, and the question was, why aren't these A pluses? And and I didn't realize how that impacted me until I was an adult. That you become this perfectionist, you drive to excel, and what people know about you, they don't know the anxiety, they don't know the turmoil. All they see is what you accomplish and what you're able to do with your time, energy, smarts, and so forth. So you get a reputation. Oh yeah, she does things with excellence, and you don't want to drop that. I guess you wouldn't want to drop that from people saying you do things with excellence, because I run into a challenge a lot of times when I'm working with people, and I say, I really need your help. I need you to come do such and such with me. And they say, well, I would do it. But you like things done right. So my question became, well, how were you going to do it? You weren't going to do it right. But now in my life, I realize what they were saying was, you're going to apply pressure to me to do my best when I'm not accustomed to performing at that level.
Mm-hmm.
And I can imagine children who cannot process on that level what they must feel, what they must think. I'm sure this impacted your family.
Oh
How
yeah.
did you walk your children through the
Yeah.
process?
So definitely, like I said, I have 6 children. DJ was my oldest. I have 4 daughters, and then we just recently had another son. So they range from ages 1 to 20.
Oh
Um,
my.
yes, in our
Okay.
household. So what I will say is, I don't want to quote him, but I know he said something around this specific topic. Dr. Jamal Bryant made a comment where he said in one of his sermons, we can no longer raise our children the way that we were raised because that world no longer
No
exists.
longer exists. Yeah.
So we can still, instill in them the morals and the values. But again, that world no longer exists. If you skipped class or something, the teacher had to find you. Then she had to pick up the phone, call your home phone, leave a message, wait till your parents got home. Now it's as simple as they can click a camera and, send it to the parent and be like, hey, we just found your child. She was in Burger King when she was supposed to be at school. So as we were telling DJ's story of trusting the process, we were in Gulfport, Mississippi, and we were at one of the Catholic dioceses. And one year we presented, and the lady who was running the organization basically let me know that the students that were coming made up the top 20% in the class for the local high school. And I
Wow.
said, oh, okay, wow. So we have a lot of students and a lot of people who come to us, after we speak, walk up to us and say, hey, I'm a survivor, or hey, thank you for letting me know that it's okay to not be okay. We give out bands. So the second year that I came there were a couple of more adults in the room, and one of the mothers approached me and she told me that after listening to our story, it really made her think about the way she had been driving her children. She had 2 older sons, and this is her youngest son. Her 2 older sons went to Ivy League universities, and she was just expecting for her son to go to an Ivy League university until he finally told her, this is not what I want to do. I actually want to be an artist. I actually want to go to school here instead of there. And she said that after listening to our speech and, about trusting the process and how we change some of our parenting skills and things that we did around our house, she completely understood it. She said it took a simple bracelet for her son to look down at and look at and say, this lady told me that she didn't want me to end up like her son. So I'm actually going to be brave enough to talk to my parents and to let them know exactly how it is that we're feeling. So one of the things that we do in our household now is, I tell my children, of course, I want to instill in you those same morals and values of being an exemplary student, but I don't want it to come at a cost. Meaning, I just want you to be a productive citizen. I just want you to do the right thing. Because another analogy that I give is, we're raising these children, but a lot of children have not experienced failure. So, I'll ask you, Dr. Clark, and, maybe with some of your children or people that if you have a child who's been working on a project and you saw them working on the project the whole week, and you keep telling them, hey, put that in your backpack so you won't forget it when you need to turn it in on Friday. Let's say Friday comes and they forget the project, and it's worth 20% of their grade. It doesn't matter if you lived on the west side of town, worked downtown, and the child went to school at the beaches. You would pick up the phone, call the teacher, and been like, Mary has been working on this project the whole week. We apologize. I'm going to get it to the school ASAP. But what happens if you don't take Mary her project?
Right.
What if this could be a learning lesson for Mary where you say, hey, remember I was reminding you all week to put it in your backpack. It's okay. You might not be, get as good of a grade as you want to because you might have to turn it in late on Monday or Tuesday, but you need to take that up with the teacher and you need to accept it if it's a failure or if you get a couple of points off, because that teaches them that failure does not mean destruction. That teaches them that, hey, there's always tomorrow. There's always Monday. You can go and let the teacher know, hey, I did it. I just forgot it. You don't have to think the worst of a situation, but what you do have to do is you have to deal with that situation. Because if you start teaching them earlier in life, then when they experience things, through social media, bullying, things of that nature, they're able to have, a couple of different coping mechanisms to say, wait a minute, this is what I did the last time, or, this is how my parent taught me, or this is the learning lesson that I learned through this. And they'll see that, failing something or not being the best at something doesn't mean it has to be the end of the road.
That is so true. And, generationally, we have lost the art of communication. I've actually been actively praying for God to release a new grace on parents, because our children are dealing with things that we never dealt with. We had some sense of family communication and joining in my generation. And then my parents were the parents who had to do without, had to sacrifice. They experienced hard times. They didn't read about it. They were the hard times that we read about. And so their aim for their children was for them to be the best, to get out of and not experience what they experienced. Mm-hmm. So that group of children that came from that generation, many of them did not know how to effectively communicate. Mm-hmm. So when they had children, instead of learning new parenting skills, they simply started doing what was done to them. And that started this mental health gap that we're seeing among our children, because they're now being raised by Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. They no longer want to be like their grandmother or their mother. They want to be like Beyonce or Jay-Z, somebody that they will never meet, or, and you live in Jacksonville, but you're dressing like you on Hollywood Boulevard. You're costing your parents money. And then there's among our young people now, there is such a hunger for money, because they feel like money will help them do everything. So they don't even stop to examine their lives to know what they want. And when we were coming up, they told you what you were going to be.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. That's true. That is absolutely true.
And so your response to that was, I'm not going to make my children do da, 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 da. So they missed some of the parenting strength they could have gained by having some options laid out to them based on their abilities and their personalities and so forth. And now that the mothers have become younger, the mental health issue has increased, because a lot of young people don't go get prayer. They don't have a spiritual leader. The parents are working and they're doing the very best that they can for them.
Absolutely.
But what the parents substituted parenting and training and discipline is with giving them stuff. And so now they feel entitled.
Oh, absolutely. I will say I am one of those parents who has raised children who are very much so entitled. I have one daughter who's a senior. She'll graduate this year from FAMU in elementary education.
Awesome.
And then I have another daughter who attends Jackson State University, and she's majoring in social work. And what I can say to people is, after we tell his story and after we talk to parents, we always close, by letting them know there's no manual for parenting. I think all of us are just out here trying to do the very best that we can. We're either emulating our parents or we're emulating someone that we see. There's no way that we can stop, what's going on with social media. But what we can do is say, yes, that's great what Jay-Z is doing. It's great what Beyonce is doing. But let me show you what Beyonce was doing in 1996. Let me show you what her parents were doing in 1996. I teach my children that there's no such thing as instant gratification. If you want it, you can have it. But hard work has to come along with that. And at the end of the day, slow and steady wins the race. I'll even say that for some adults, after DJ passed away, we had so many adults, my husband and I, coming to us because we, put a lot of things on Facebook, but we were very real and raw, with our family. We did it, because we have family members and friends all over the world. We've lived in multiple countries. So we wanted to stay connected. And so many parents came to us and reached out and they were like, what happened? We were modeling our children after what we saw you and your husband doing. What happened? And the only thing that I could tell them was, here are the subtle things. I didn't know as a full-blown adult that I suffered from an anxiety disorder. I just always thought I was worried, and it was natural to think about okay, having a plan A, plan B, and plan C. If plan A doesn't work, then that consequently could make this happen. So if that does happen, then I need to think about that. And I'm going into the night thinking about it. I can't get any sleep. So I'm getting up at 3:00 in the morning, getting on the computer, trying to figure things out. And that is a trait that I was passing down to my children. So I also say, it is great. Everyone, I pray that they have a great, faith-based community that they can lean and that they can depend on. But I always say, prayer works. Yes, it does. But the good Lord also gave us sense enough to make sure that we get that outside counseling. Like, I pray, but I also have my therapist. I have my therapist on good days, on bad days, when I just want to go talk and, release and get things off of me. So I think that you really do have to just look at your parenting style. Talk to your children. I am one who has a type A personality. I can talk a lot. Sometimes my children are like, we can't get 2 words in. So for our family, we had to come up with code words. So when my older daughters or my 9-year-old really want to express themselves to me without me saying a word, and just listening and being engaged in what they're saying, no matter if it's good, no matter if it's bad, no matter if it's something that makes me want to, rip my hair out. Their code word is cucumbers. So they come to me and they say, hey, Mom, cucumbers. And so cucumbers puts me in a mental state of mind where I say, okay, my children want to talk to me about something. Don't know what it's going to be, but I need to actively listen. I need to not react. If I think I need to react, I need to take a moment and just ask them, hey, can mommy just have a moment for a second, but not give them any type of signs or symptoms and come back, because the only thing that I can control is my reaction and what is going to come forth afterwards. And that's not something, previously that I would do. It was just, hey, this is, this is what should be done. How do you feel? I mean, do you really have feelings? Like, what's really going on? Like, let's, stay the course. So I really now, even with my 3-year-old, the 3-year-old will come and express herself. And, my husband and I look at her like, where is this coming from?
She's running the house, right?
She's running the house, her and the 1-year-old, but we let them, express themselves. And, sometimes she'll be like, Mommy, don't yell at my little brother. That's just my little brother. And I'm thinking to myself, all I told him was, hey, don't stand up on the couch. But she's expressing herself to be like, I love my little brother. Maybe there's a different way, Mommy, that you can tell the 1-year-old not to jump on the couch. So, we take all of that into, consideration, because I want them to be whole mentally, whole physically, and I want them to be able to come to me. We've always had an open door policy, but now the open door policy is even more lax. It's wider. Exactly.
Yeah. I can imagine it would be. Cheryl, it's a pleasure talking with you. And with raising 6 kids, manning a foundation, working, having a husband, how do you manage to work with the Boys and Girls Club?
So I was actually a mentor for Big Brothers, Big Sisters. I actually had started at a job that I was at. And then when I left that place of employment, the young lady asked me to continue on. So I continued on. So I mentor her, but then now currently I mentor 2 other individuals at Fleming Island High School. So typically, when we go around and we tell DJ story or we're passing out scholarships, people or individuals who just come up to us and be like, hey, this is what I went through, or thank you so much for having that. And when you start engaging in communication with young adults and you gain their trust, my thing is, I always say I have an open door policy. I don't care if you need to call me at midnight because you're in a bad situation. I don't care if you snuck out of your house and you got caught somewhere and you're afraid to call your mother. Like, call me. I don't mind coming to pick you up. I will be the bridge between you and the parent to simmer things down, to talk things over, because at the end of the day, I want these individuals to be whole and to be able to keep their mental stability together. And a lot of the children that we actually mentor ended up coincidentally being friends, of my children or of our daughters. They would be like, hey, Miss Cheryl, could you help me with XYZ? We were just at a walk in Fleming Island this Saturday where we gave away a scholarship, and one of my daughter's friends was telling me, hey, I really want to go to this college, but my mother really wants me to go to that college. And I just told her, by no means, don't worry about it. We'll set up some time. We'll have dinner at my house and we'll all, talk it out and go through it. And, at the end of the day, you just want these individuals, young individuals, to be happy and to live productive, long lives.
Wow. DJ's loss to your family and interrupted future, I'm sure was dark and grim, but it produced sunshine.
Absolutely.
Because
Absolutely.
anytime there's a sacrifice, there's always a blessing.
Absolutely.
And while DJ will not be able to participate anymore, so many other children, because of people like you, will have an opportunity to decompress, to talk about what's really going on with them. And Cheryl, one last thing, our time is almost up. We could just go on talking about this because I have a passion for the mental health system.
Yes.
The focus of it when it's really done right, and you're not just put on a bunch of meds to make you feel better, but when you really do some cognitive therapy and talking, expressing, so that healing can take place. We have a lot of our kids in school are under pressure. They don't know how to make a decision. I couldn't believe it. I mean, but what happens is somehow we've segregated the family from school, and the parents now feel like my job is to clothe them, feed them, bathe them, take care of their needs. It's your job, teacher, to develop their character, their attitude, and we are putting a definite strain on our education system.
Yes.
To the point, they were having problems hiring teachers.
Absolutely.
The teachers now have to be mega parent teachers, mega parent educators. Yeah. And that's why they came up with the phrase, it takes a village. I know that you all give scholarships. How do you gather the funds for that? Is there a place where some organization may be watching, or someone who works for an organization that's anthropic, that they will give you a donation for your scholarship program? How would they go about doing that?
Yes, absolutely. So they can go to our website. Again, it's DJD's Marvelous Light Foundation.com. And we do have a donation tab. We actually have sponsors who donate to the cause on a monthly basis. And then usually when it's scholarship time and it's time to give out, we disperse those funds. Also, like the event that we were at this past Saturday, the Eagles Fly High 5K. They raised money for the 5K, and then they donated to our organization as well. And we give back by getting those students together, saying, hey, we're disbanding now the applications, have those children apply, have them write the essays, and myself, along with the other board members, go through those essays, and we decide which individuals should receive them. And again, the thing that I like about it the most is, it's not just geared towards those individuals who are going to college, because we understand with all the pressures of society, it's great. We need teachers. Absolutely. Like I said, my daughter's majoring in elementary education, but we also need first responders. We need more police officers. We need more firefighters. We need more healthcare workers, more nurses, more LPNs, more CNAs. So any type of a trade that they can pick up. We need welders. We need builders. So, we offer that to them just as a bridge to say, hey, here's something extra to help you get along in whatever your trade or your future endeavors might be. So you can definitely donate. Like I said, we have monthly donors. And we also have organizations who like to feed into our program because they know that at the end of the day, we're giving the scholarship money, to deserving individuals. And to your point, we do have to go back and, examine ourselves as parents. I have multiple friends who are teachers, and they are under such a tremendous amount of pressure. So we do have to get back in and say, hey, we're going to join those boards. We're going to join the parent, teacher associations that they have to be actively involved in our children's lives. If nothing else, be actively involved with the teacher. Just to let them know, hey, I might work crazy hours, but I'm here. If you need me, or if Johnny is having an issue, just text me, or hey, FaceTime me in the class, or send me an email. We have so many means of communication these days, but yes, it is our responsibility as parents to make sure that we are 100% actively involved, because this is the next generation that we're creating.
Okay, these are our future lawyers, doctors. These are the people that will take care of us as we
Absolutely.
age and need
Absolutely.
care. Can you imagine what that's going to be like?
I
We're
close my
glad
eyes
it's happening.
sometimes and I think about, oh gosh, I have a 1-year-old son and I have a 3-year-old daughter and a 9-year-old daughter. Like literally in 10 years, 20 years, what is that going to look like? Be very interesting.
Yeah, you have AI, you have metaverse,
Mhm.
so many things that's challenging their minds. And then we already have teenage millionaires, we have,
Absolutely. Yeah.
yeah, we have children who are
Everyone wants to
just,
be a TikTok sensation.
yeah, yeah, that too. But we know everybody's not going to make it. So we have to really approach it realistically
Yep.
so that we don't get sidetracked,
Absolutely.
or, yeah, knocked out of life by that. But it certainly is a pleasure speaking with you today. Do you
Thank
mainly
you.
work in the beaches area?
No, actually, my family and I, we live in Green Cove Springs, Florida. I work from home. My husband just retired after 22 years. He was a lieutenant commander in the Navy. So he just retired in October and has been enjoying retirement life. So he helps me with the foundation. He helps with the littles and he also has his own business. So again, we are parents now that just take things day by day, moment by moment. We plan when we can, but if not, we're always up for, an impromptu. Kids want to go to the park. Let's go to the park. Kids want to go to Disney. Free weekend. Let's go to Disney. My 9-year-old is very involved in the community. She runs track. She plays softball. So we have very busy plates, but we always make sure that we take the time out to do the things that are important to us. And again, DJ's story is of the utmost importance to us.
That's awesome. DJ's life and death is a gift to your family and to the community at large. Thank you so much for being
Thank you
on
for
the
having me.
program tonight. It was a pleasure speaking with you. And listen, thank you for joining in on tonight. Leave your comments, please, in the comment box. Don't just go and say, I saw you, but let me know you were there. Click like, share the program. You might know a parent who has lost a child to suicide, or you're observing some children with some unhappy mental issues that may lead to something as tragic as suicide. There are outlets, there are places to go. We gave a list of them on the broadcast last week. And if you download the ebook, there's information in there how you can connect with some help groups as well. And listen, as we close the broadcast, I want to say, let's be a village again for the betterment of our children. Thank you, and we'll see you next week, 7 o'clock p.m. Thursday evening for Unplugged Live.
Thanks for joining us for Unplugged Live with Dr. Diane Smith-Clark, PhD, helping to bring change and transformation in the mental health space within the church community. Dr. Diane wants to hear from you. If you have any questions, comments, guest recommendations, or program topic ideas, visit DianeUnplugged.com and click the Contact Us link. Dr. Diane also appreciates your prayers and your financial support. You can give online at DianeUnplugged.com and select Donate. If your business or ministry organization is interested in sponsoring this program, you can go to DianeUnplugged.com and click the Contact Us link. Unplugged Live is on all the social media platforms. Just search Dr. Diane Smith-Clark, follow, and subscribe. Unplugged Live with Dr. Diane Smith-Clark, PhD. Healthy mind, wealthy life.